Welcome to a new planetary and seismic update. It's been a while since the previous update. We had festivities, the Christmas, so there's the delay for this update. But here we are, and we have two events that are noteworthy, and that's the 7.3 that we had on the 17th, and also the recent magnitude 6.8 north of Japan at the Kuril Islands, and that was on the 27th. And we did an additional update for that specific event because we saw that coming because of the lunar geometry. I'll come to that in a minute. So the 7.3 that occurred on the 17th, and I will do a very quick analysis of the planetary and lunar geometry that preceded that event. You may recall on the 12th and 13th we had a tight convergence of planetary and lunar geometry, two planetary conjunctions involving Mercury and Venus, and that statistically can reach mid-7 magnitude easily. And then we had, as we see here on this SGI graph, a lunar peak that was a lunar conjunction on the 14th. And within 2.5 days, we see this magnitude 7.3 earthquake. And also following the full moon, there was a tight convergence of a planetary conjunction that involved Jupiter and also the full moon. And that was on the 15th. And I mentioned the convergence of planetary conjunctions in the previous update. So there was near mid-7 magnitude. Then we had this magnitude 6.8 at the Kuril Islands. That's also interesting because we had on the 24th, 25th, convergence of very specific lunar geometry, unique geometry, because the Earth made a right angle with Jupiter and Saturn, and at the same time, within 1 or 2 hours, it's really tight, the Moon made semi-right angle geometry both with Jupiter and Saturn, 135 degrees, and that can typically result in a higher 6 magnitude. Depends a bit on the stress levels in those crosses. It could have been magnitude 7 as well. And because of this geometry, I did the update in the social media, and I said around the 27th there could be a strong to major seismic event, and indeed on the 27th we had this 6.7, 6.8 magnitude earthquake. It's been upgraded to 6.8. Okay, that's the most important geometry, the most important seismic activity that we had. So the overview here from the 15th to the 24th, we see pretty much increased seismic activity approaching 5.9 magnitude across the time frame, and that had a lot to do with the geometry that we had. 5.5, 5.9, then we had the 7.3, 5.6, 5.7, 5.5, 6.2. We go from 5.5 and up, and we see some increased seismic activity across this time frame. 6.2, when about 2 years an aftershock following the lunar conjunction on the 21st. These lunar conjunctions are always important to observe because they tend to cause stronger earthquakes across the planet, often in clusters. So let's have a look at the next time frame, from yesterday 28th until the 6th of January. One planetary conjunction that will be on the 3rd, and it will be the Sun with Venus and Uranus. But we're going to have quite some lunar geometry as well. Yesterday night to early this morning, lunar conjunction with Jupiter, and Mercury is also in there, and that's because Earth is very close to the Mercury-Jupiter line. And lunar conjunctions with Jupiter, they can easily result in stronger seismic activity. And in this case, I would say around the 30th, there's the potential for possibly some clustering of stronger earthquakes. It could be a larger earthquake as well. Then we have a new moon. That will be on the 30th. And it's interesting there because the moon at the same time will make semi-right angle geometry with Venus and with Uranus. That's interesting. It starts with Uranus later on the 30th, and that's 135 degrees, and within a few hours, 45 degrees with Venus. And that convergence exactly converges with the new moon. And we can see some clustering of strong earthquakes as a result. There could be a stronger seismic event into the 6 magnitude range as well within 2 days following that geometry. With Moon Earth Mars on the 1st of January. And then we're going to have some planetary geometry coming up that's worth mentioning. Venus, Mercury, Neptune, and Mercury-Venus, Neptune. That's a typical semi-right angle geometry that comes in pairs. This is Neptune. It's not Uranus. Uranus is more critical with Venus and Mercury combined. But this is Neptune. We could still see an obvious seismic response. And then we look at the next lunar geometry, and that will be on the 4th with with Saturn and on the 5th with Neptune. And if we look at the bigger picture here, the planetary geometry followed by the lunar geometry, there is the potential for stronger seismic activity. I estimate around the 6th of January. But that's several days from now, and we will do additional updates in the social media when we get signs of a potential stronger or major seismic event. We particularly look at the lunar geometry, but also this planetary geometry here with Neptune and Mercury and Venus. This is the update for now. Check out the website for the latest updates and also our social media channels. We do important updates there. I wish everyone the best for 2025. Until next time.